Good afternoon and welcome. I'm Matt Greer, the music director here at St. John's United Methodist Church in Albuquerque, welcoming you to another Music from St. John's live stream concert. We're so happy that you are with us. And we have, as usual, a wonderful concert in store for you today. Just so you're aware of what is coming up next in the series, next Wednesday, which is the 8th of July, will feature a concert by Gil Flores. He's a wonderful singer-songwriter who happens to be on the staff here at St. John's. And then 2 weeks from today, on July 15th, we'll have a wonderful voice recital featuring soprano Ingela Onstad, baritone Michael Hicks, and pianist Amy Greer. So continue to tune in to these concerts. As you're aware, part of the reason that we're doing these is to raise a bit of money and raise awareness for the work done by a wonderful organization in our community, Albuquerque Healthcare for the Homeless, with whom the music ministry here has been partnering for over 10 years. So you see in the chat window a link that you can easily click on and make a donation. We hope that you will continue to be generous to them to support the work that they do in our community, especially during these times. You may remember that when the lockdown first happened, one of the things that we started to do here at St. John's was a video project, and we invited musicians from all around the community to come in and make music videos for us. We made over 40 of them, beautiful music videos produced by Shay Perry, who's behind the camera today. You can find all of them on our YouTube page, and actually of all of those videos with all of those wonderful musicians, the one that has been viewed the most is by today's artist. So we were so happy to welcome her back today, and we know you're going to enjoy Lara Manzanares. Welcome.
Cool. Which camera? Cool. All right. Thank you. Thank you, Matthew, and thank you, Shay, for being here today and for putting this on. This is amazing to be able to do some music in these strange times. Today I'm going to sing a few songs. We're going to have a little fun. We're going to think a little bit of everything. I'm going to start out with a tune that a lot of you may know, especially if you grew up here in New Mexico or even down in Mexico. And it's called Cielito Lindo, which literally translates to pretty little sky, but I think it's actually talking about a person, you know, my beautiful little sky, sort of. De la Sierra Morena, cielito lindo, viene bajando, un par de ojitos negros, cielito lindo de contrabando. Ay, 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 canta y no llores, porque cantando se alegran, cielito lindo, los corazones. So that chorus, if you're not familiar with it, it says, ay, 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 sing and don't cry, because it is through singing that your heart becomes happy. Ese lunar que tiene, cielito lindo, junto a la boca, no se lo des a nadie, cielito lindo que a mí me toca. Ay, 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 canta y no llores, porque cantando se alegran, cielito lindo, los corazones. Pájaro que abandona, cielito lindo, su primer nido. Si lo encuentra ocupado, cielito lindo, bien merecido. Ay, 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 canta y no llores, porque cantando se alegran, cielito lindo, los corazones. Ay, 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 canta y no llores, porque cantando se alegran, cielito lindo, los So that used to be one of my grandpa's favorite songs. So whenever I sing it, I think about singing with him. And sometimes I wonder what he would say about what's going on right now. Who knows? I'd like to think that maybe he would bring some comfort, in his view. He was of that generation that, they went through World War II and they had a lot of trials and they had to just sort of bite the bullet and just kind of tough it out in a lot of ways and just move through life and not complain a lot and just kind of do what they had to do. So I think about him and my grandma when things start to feel a little rough with this pandemic, and I think, well, if they could do it, I mean, I have some pretty strong genes, so I can do this. This next song is an original song, and it was written after a visit to my grandparents' house. And at this visit, I found my grandpa liked to have a lot of really old photo albums and old papers and things like that. And I was looking through them, and I came across some letters written in longhand from the Civil War era. I think there was maybe only a couple of them, but in the letters, I couldn't quite tell what they were, who was writing who, and it was unclear, except I could kind of tell. It seemed like it was a woman writing a letter to a soldier who was far away from home. My grandpa didn't know if these were ancestors exactly or not. It was just this big pile of stuff. So, but anyway, so that sort of piqued my interest and kind of put it in the back of my head. And then I went back to where I was living in San Francisco, and this song came out. It's called Writing Letters.
Tomorrow things just might get better. I'm hoping to give the garden a new start. The days have been hot and dry all of June and July, and the adobe wall in the kitchen is showing a crack. Little Angie asks about you every now and then. She asks me if you're ever coming back. Would you be proud of me? Would you be ashamed of me? And after all is said and done, would you even give a damn? As much as we strain to see, the past is a melody, and though we try to grab it, never pin it down. Oh, la da dum dum, la da da da, la da 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 da. I've given away a pair of your old blue jeans to your little brother. Not so little now. I hope that you don't mind. They fit him really well. I had to wash them for him, 'cause he don't know how. I spend most of my days just putting things away, but last night's potato salad turned out just right. The car broke
interesting moment there when I haven't been driving for months. And when I got to the line about it's supposed to be the car broke down, and I kind of was like, the car, wait, what cars do? Wait, what? So that was kind of funny. Yeah, strange times that we're living in. All right, I'm gonna take us on another little journey now. For about 6 years before I moved back to New Mexico, where I'm from, I lived in San Francisco. And a lot of my songwriting, that's sort of where I really sort of started to dig into my songwriting and do it a little bit more. So this is a song that actually, it's one of those songs that I don't know if it will ever make it onto a recording or an album. But I just was kind of a moment in time that I wrote a song about, and it's fun to share it sometimes here live. And I was on the Larkspur ferry, writing in my journal, and this sort of like song came to me. So come on to the Larkspur ferry with me. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome aboard the Larkspur Ferry. With service to the inner reaches of your soul, the lost city of Atlantis, and San Francisco. Please keep all your personal longings with you at all times. If you noticed any suspicious-looking thoughts or intentions, please report them to the crew members immediately. Hear the rumble of the engine, slow and steady hum. San Francisco, here I come. Endless chitter chatter, my brain is skitter scatter, my heart goes pitter patter, boom, 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 boom. La da 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 da, la da 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 da. La da 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 da. La da 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 da. Hear the rumble of the engine, slow and steady hum. San Francisco, here I come. San Francisco, here I come. San Francisco, here I come. So, San Francisco sounds like a very mysterious place, an amazing place, based on that song, and it was. I have a lot of really fond memories of living there, and I have a whole collection of memories of that place that are kind of unique, I think. Because I got to go into a lot of people's homes, and maybe something that if I'd just gone and worked somewhere and just gone to work and come home, that wouldn't have happened. But I decided to work as a census taker because soy entremetida. No, I'm just kidding. That means a nosy, busybody in Spanish. No, I wanted to get to know my neighbors, and, you know, I wanted to be outside and be walking around, and there's something really nice as well about having a job that's task-oriented like that, especially if you're an artist, you know, where things can be very nebulous and projects aren't never quite finished. And so it was nice to have this job where I was able to get, you know, check a box and I'm done with that. Check another box and I'm done with that. It was very rewarding. But it was really frustrating sometimes too, because there were a lot of people that were resistant to getting that box checked. There was a lot of fear, which is understandable, you know. It's like, who's this person coming to my house that I don't know them, and like now they want to know information about me and stuff. So it was my job to sort of be an ambassador for this process, which is going on again right now, and it's very important. If you haven't filled out your census form, if it's laying there on the kitchen counter, just pick it up and fill it out and drop it in the mail, or you can go online as well. It's literally takes like 5 minutes. There is no citizenship question. They won't ask you for sensitive information like that, in case, you know, that's an issue for you. But yeah, it's super important, and I had to share this with people and let them know that, you know, we need this information so that we know where to send your money. That you pay in taxes every year. You pay taxes, and so then if you don't get counted in the census, like a lot of that money, it doesn't get to you. It doesn't get to your community. So fill out your census, and don't be like certain people that I encountered in San Francisco who were very resistant and would never come to the door, or would. A friend of mine had a bucket of water thrown on her. That never happened to me, you know. It was kind of a wild time. And during that time, I wrote this song from the point of view of a census taker. And I actually sang it at one house. They probably thought I was crazy, but I went ahead and did it because I figured, well, I've been coming every day. They probably already think I'm crazy, so what do I have to lose? So this is the song. It's called the Census Song. Hey, you. Please open the door. I can't wait anymore. My poor feet are aching. Hey, you. I can see your light on. I got something to write on. Guess I'll come back tomorrow. And the next day. And the next day. And the day after that. Gavin. Guess I'll see you tomorrow. Yeah, so that's a fun one. And it has a sort of a never-ending song sort of quality to it. If I wanted to, I could keep singing it all day. And thinking back to when I did sing it in front of the doorway, those guys didn't answer the door even then, after that. Not even to tell me to get lost. And I sometimes wonder, like, well, I should have just kept singing it. I don't know. So, yeah, back to in San Francisco, meeting a lot of cool people. And one thing I have found, I grew up here in New Mexico, and then I went off into the world. I went to college in Wisconsin at Lawrence University in Appleton. I was at the Art Institute in Chicago. Spent some time in Washington, D.C., at the Smithsonian, San Francisco for 6 years. And a lot of things, while I was far away from home, there were a lot of things that I realized I had taken for granted when I was here in New Mexico. And that happens when you travel. Then you realize things about yourself and where you're from, the place where you're from, that you maybe wouldn't have noticed if you didn't ever go anywhere. And when I was in California, I was confronted with the fact that I didn't really like the ocean that much. I mean, it was a weird thing to realize, because you grow up here seeing movies and films and things, and it's like the ocean and the beach and yay, and so you just kind of assume that you're going to love it when you go there. And I found that I didn't right away. I was like kind of out of my element, didn't really know what to do, didn't really know how to handle myself in the water. And in Northern California, the water's really cold. So it was big and scary and windy. And so I don't know, I guess I sort of started to realize, when you realize where you're not from, then that kind of highlights where you are from. And so it was around that time that I wrote this song. It sort of came to me while I was walking down the street, thinking about the ocean and my sea baby friends. So this is the song. It's called Land Baby. I'm a land baby, desert baby, cactus eating sand lady. A land baby, desert baby, cactus eating sand lady. I need lots of space to think. I need mountain water to drink, where the sun turns your skin to leather and your heart into gold. I'm a land baby, desert baby, cactus eating sand lady. A land baby, desert baby, cactus eating sand lady. Things move a little slower inland time, inland time. 102 millennia is the passing of the tide. I'm a land baby, desert baby, cactus eating sand lady. A land baby, desert baby, cactus eating sand lady. Give me a road that goes to nowhere. Give me the wind blowing through my hair. I'm chasing down that horizon, baby, and I won't come home till dawn. Hey, I'm a land baby, desert baby, cactus eating sand lady. A land baby, desert baby, cactus eating sand lady. I'm a desert baby. Yeah. So yeah, I'm a land baby. I'm a desert baby. And I didn't realize it until I wasn't anymore. And then, after I wrote that song, I lived there for a few years, and I started to really get to know the ocean a little better. And by the time I left San Francisco, I felt sad that I was leaving the ocean. So I don't hate the ocean. It just took me a minute to get used to it, to get into it, and to learn about it, and to be around people who knew about it. And my friend Patrick took me kayaking. My cousin Frank took me out on his little boat and kind of explained the tides, which he couldn't believe that I didn't really, I was like, high tide and low tide, I don't really understand. I mean, I hear it, but like, what has it been? He was like, how do you not know that? I was like, I just probably learned it in school at some point, but never had to think about it out here in New Mexico. So that was interesting. That was really cool. Really cool to learn about it. And I felt sadness when I left San Francisco in the ocean. But I also thought, well, you know what? The ocean comes here to visit. That's the clouds and the rain. A lot of our weather systems come from California. And so it's like, oh, okay, it's cool. The ocean comes to visit me. So it made me feel better. All right, what time is it? Yeah, I think I have time to do this one. I'm gonna do a cover song now. This is a song by a gentleman named Silvio Rodriguez, and he's from Cuba. He's a very excellent songwriter if you want to look him up. This is just one of the many songs that I love of his. It's called Quien Fuera, but I always think of it as the Corazon song, and you'll see why. This song actually has several words in it that I had to look up because they're words in Spanish that aren't necessarily used very often in regular, normal conversation, like batiscafo. Batiscafo is actually a bathyscape. It's like a submarine or something. So there's some interesting words in there. So that's why I have to have the words here. All right, here goes. Buscando una palabra en el umbral de tu misterio. Quien fuera Alibaba, quien fuera el mítico Sinbad, quien fuera un poderoso sortilegio, quien fuera encantado. Estoy buscando una escafandra al pie del mar de los delirios.
fuera el batiscafo de tu abismo, quien fuera explorador, corazón, corazón oscuro, corazón, corazón con muros, corazón que se esconde, corazón que está donde, corazón, corazón en fuga, herido de dudas de amor. Estoy buscando melodía para tener como llamarte. Quien fuera ruiseño, quien fuera Lennon y McCartney, sin Dogara y Violeta Chico Buarque, quien fuera tu trovador, corazón, corazón oscuro, corazón, corazón con muro, corazón que se esconde, corazón que está donde, corazón, corazón en fuga, herido de dudas de amor. Estoy buscando melodía para tener como llamarte. Quien fuera ruiseño, quien fuera Lennon y McCartney, sin Dogara y Violeta Chico Buarque, quien fuera tu trovador, corazón, corazón oscuro, corazón, corazón con muros, corazón que se esconde, corazón que está donde, corazón, corazón en fuga, herido de dudas de amor. Corazón, corazón, corazón. Excuse me. All right. Corazón oscuro, dark heart. Corazón con muros, heart with walls around it. Corazón que se esconde, corazón que está donde. So heart that hides, heart that is who knows where. Where are you? Corazón en fuga. Heart in fuga is like to flee, in flight, I guess, running away. Herido de dudas de amor, hurt by the doubts of love, or it's hard to translate sometimes because it's like, no, it means more than that, but you got to get the picture. So that was Silvio Rodriguez. All right. And at this time, I am going to do another
song in Spanish. This song was sort of a collaborative effort. I sang the song in the recording, which later was used in a film, a documentary film. So I was the singer, but the song was written by Shibana Coelho, who was the driving force behind a documentary about Nazario Garcia, a scholar and folklorist, I guess you could say, who grew up in the Rio Puerco Valley, out sort of more or less by Cuba, way out there. And he was talking to Shibana about his memories of this place. And she made a documentary film called Nazario Remembers the Rio Puerco, which you can look for online if you're interested in seeing it. And she composed these lyrics based on some of the things that Nazario had told her. And then Jordan Wax of the group Lon Piñon, he took those lyrics and created the music and the song. And then at the end they called me and were like, will you sing it? And I was like, sure. So they did a ton of work. And then I came in at the end, but my voice is on the song. So it's always good to remember all of the work that came before, a finished product. There's a lot of work that goes into it. And they've created a really beautiful song. So I'm going to sing it here. It's called La Indita del Rio Puerco. And it's called an Indita because it's written sort of in the Indita style. That's a whole other history lesson. Don't have time for right now. But if you are interested, you could look that up online too. Indita, music of New Mexico. So I'll just do the song. Start over.
Estaba muy chiquita. estaba muy chiquita y se dio. Hana, hana yo, hana, hana yo. Hana, hana yo, hana, hana yo.
Indita del Rio Puerco. There is a recording of that probably on my Spotify, if you do that. And it has beautiful instrumentation by Lon Piñon, along with the singing, you know. So it's worth checking out. All right. I'm going to continue. We're getting down near the end, but I'm going to do this. Another original song. I've actually never performed this one before, except for my doctor, or my therapist, I guess you could say. My myofunctional therapist. So, like everyone out there, you know, I have little challenges every day, sometimes bigger, sometimes smaller, in the way of health and things like that. So that's another long story that I won't go too far into, except to let you know about something that I've been doing for the past like 2.5 years, I guess. When I was a lot more sick and we were trying to figure out what was going on, we ended up finding sort of a collection of things. It wasn't just one thing, right? It was sort of a collection of things that was happening, and one of them was I wasn't breathing correctly because my nose was blocked. It had formed in a way where I had a deviated septum, and so all my life I had been breathing through my mouth. That had caused other habits to form, and other, you know, poor breathing habits, and then structural things that were a little bit off, or and I'd always been, and I still am, and I'm saying this now on video, so it's pretty self-conscious about how my mouth looks and how it moves, and just everyone has their thing, right? And that's kind of mine, because all of my life it's been such a kind of like struggle to breathe and close my mouth and just kind of keep everything in line. So when I'm relaxed, it's you know, I have to work every little moment to keep my mouth closed and kind of keep my face from falling into old habits ever since we started getting this stuff fixed. And so over the last 2.5 years, I've been seeing a myofunctional therapist. That's like a physical therapist for your breathing and your swallow and your mouth muscles and your face and all that stuff. And I wrote this song because it's very difficult to describe sometimes all these things. And so I wrote this. This is another one that probably won't ever make it onto an album or anything of that sort. But it's fun to share it, and it was fun to write it, to try and communicate, you know, something that I was going through that may not have been apparent. So I don't know if anyone out there has a sleep disorder, and a lot of people do. Some of these words might speak to you. All right, it's called Gothic Palette because I have a Gothic palette. My palette inside my mouth, I guess it's supposed to be like this, but it's like this instead. That's what I've been told because of all these, because of everything, how I developed. So it's called Gothic Palette. My mouth is tall like a cathedral, vaulted ceilings, lots of air. Prayers echo through the passageways, yearning to be shared. My tongue lays low like a criminal that's always on the lam. Never had a job, never knew a home, always making his last stand. But one by one, then
cradled by enamel walls, he is not alone. My neck is tall like a giraffe, and so tight it makes me cry. After a lifetime looking down, I can't wait to see the sky. My lips are tragic lovers, ill-fated from the start, born to be together. Over time they've grown apart. But one by one and step by step, I'm lifting up my head. Two lovers come together now with words that must be said. Taut like a racehorse, straining toward the finish line, gulping down big breaths of air, but blocked when I'm supine. My head is heavy, I can't rest, even when I close my eyes. All my life I have awoken to my own uneven sighs. But one by one and step by step, my dreams have come alive. The witching hour no longer is a battle to survive. My jaw is an orchestra of snap, crackle, pop. It's hard to tell when one song begins and when another stops. My cheeks scrunch up like a mime just to swallow my food down. Bit by bit and bite by bite, I struggle not to drown. But one by one and step by step, my cheeks are smoothing now. I'm swallowing my vitamins without a furrowed brow. Continues, a destination now in sight. Each prayerful iteration brings a new day, a new bite. So one by one and step by step, I'm reaching solid ground. A pathway set before me now, and this breath that I have found. So that's, first time I've performed that in public. And I just wrote that last two verses last night because I was like, I don't know how to end this thing. It's like, well, I guess it just continues, right? All right, I think I have time for either one longer one or two short ones. I'm gonna try and go with two. Yeah. All right, and it's gonna be, here's another original song. This song is called Margarets Dream. Sort of halfway dream, halfway reality. So yeah, just kind of go with the flow in the imagery.
Margarets Dream. She dreamed that she was coming to New Mexico. All right, so I'm just about done here, and I'm going to do one last song. And I've been doing a lot of original stuff this hour, so I thought I would do something that maybe you all could sing along to. So here you go. Oh Lord my God, when I in awesome wonder consider all the worlds thy hands have made, I see the stars, I hear the rolling thunder, thy power throughout the universe displayed. Then sings my soul, my Savior God, to thee. How great thou art, how great thou art. Then sings my soul, my Savior God, to thee. How great thou art, how great thou art. And when I think of God, his Son not sparing, sent him to die, I scarce can take it in, that on the cross my burden gladly bearing, he bled and died to take away my sin. Then sings my soul, my Savior God, to thee. How great thou art, how great thou art. Then sings my soul, my Savior God, to thee. How great thou art, how great thou art. When Christ shall come with shout of acclamation and lead me home, what joy shall fill my heart. Then I shall bow with humble adoration, and then proclaim, my God, how great thou art. Then sings my soul, my Savior God, to thee. How great thou art, how great thou art. Then sings my soul, my Savior God, to thee. How great thou art, how great thou art. Cool. Thank you everyone for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful week. Thank you very much to St. John's and to Matthew Greer and Shay Perry for doing all the technical stuff to get this done. And I hope to see you again in the future, and hopefully see your smiling faces. Be safe and well, everyone.